Good morning, everyone. It's Robert from On My Turntable. Hope you're having a great morning this morning. It is Friday morning. As always, a coffee kind of morning. Hope everyone's doing well. I want to talk about one or two or three things today. A couple of CDs I picked up, some great stuff from two fantastic artists, as well as my overview of the part one of the Get Back documentary series. I'm not going to reveal a lot in this when I talk about the documentary because I don't want to spoil it for anyone that hasn't seen it yet. Pardon me, but fantastic documentary, and really enjoyed it. Before I get into everything though, please hit the like and subscribe button below. Thank you to all that have liked and subscribed so far. I greatly appreciate it. Want to continue to put great content out there to be informative and to show you guys some great bands and artists that I have in my collection. It's because of you guys, your likes, your subscriptions, your wonderful comments that keep me going, keep me motivated to do this kind of thing, and I greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. Cheers, everyone. Love you all. Yeah, so I'll get to the documentary in just a second, or a few minutes. But I want to show you a couple of things I picked up. This is truly amazing, in my opinion, anyway. This is called Pure McCartney, going along with the Beatles theme. 67 tracks on this 4 CD deluxe package. There's 3 different versions of it. There's a 2 CD version. There's one with 42 tracks. There's this happens to be the 4 CD version of it. From every album from Wings and Paul McCartney, except Flowers in the Dirt, Run Devil Run, and Driving Rain. Nothing from those albums on here, but everything else on here you can imagine. Again, hardcover booklet or mini book with some great photos in it, explaining a lot of the songs, and yeah, it's remarkable stuff. Really happy to find this one. I love that photo there. The documentary really showed how creative and amazing this guy is, and I'll talk about that again in a few minutes. But yeah, this is I'll show you a couple of the CDs. So this is what the CDs look like here. So that's disc 1 and through to disc 4. Disc 3, disc 4. There's this Hofner bass. An amazing bassist too, by the way. If you haven't seen it, if you have the if you have the Disney Channel, there's a great documentary featuring Paul McCartney and Rick Rubin, going through a lot of not only Paul's songs, but a lot of the Beatles songs from George and Ringo and John, and they discuss them and kind of just jive along with them. But yeah, this disc 1, Maybe I'm Amazed, Heart of the Country, Jet, one of my favorites, Warm and Beautiful, Listen to What the Man Said, Dear Boy, Silly Love Songs, the songs we were singing, Uncle Albert Halsey, Early Days, Big Barn Bed, Another Day, Flaming Pie, Jenny Wren, Too Many People, Let Me Roll It, another classic of mine, and New. This too is Live and Let Die, the great soundtrack. English Tea, Mull Kintyre, cool track as well. Save Us, My Love, I love that song. Bebop, Let 'Em In, 1985, another cool track. Calico Skies, Hi Hi Hi. It just goes on and on and on. This guy has written some amazing songs. Waterfalls, Band on the Run, Appreciate, Sing of the Changes, Arrow Through Me, Every Night, Junior's Farm, Mrs. Vanderbilt, Disc 3 is Say Say Say, which is a 2015 remix. My Valentine, Pipes of Peace, The World Tonight, Souvenir, Dance Tonight, Ebony and Ivory, Fine Line, Here Today, Press, Wanderlust, Wine Dark, Open Sea, Beautiful Night, Girlfriend, Queenie Eye, We All Stand Together, and Disc 4 is Coming Up, Too Much Rain, Good Times, Coming Feel the Sun, Good Night Tonight, Baby's Request, With a Little Luck, Little Willow, Only Mama Knows, Don't Let It Bring You Down, The Backseat of My Car, No More Lonely Nights, Great Day, Venus and Mars, Rock Show, Temporary Secretary, Hope for the Future, and Junk. Just chock full of McCartney stuff. Really, really good find. Pretty reasonable price as well, but yeah, anything and everything you want in Paul McCartney. Happy to find that one. As well as this one, and I'm wondering if whatever happened if he would have remixed some Beatles tracks. This is the great Steven Wilson. This is Future Bites and Hand Cannot Erase. Two amazing albums by this master of music, Mr. Steven Wilson. Of course, famous for being the lead singer and songwriter and player in Porcupine Tree, great progressive rock band. He's also remixed so many great albums. Tears for Fears, Song for the Big Chair, Ultravox, Vienna, Jethro Tull's Aqualung, which is my favorite. I have that one. King Crimson and the Court of the Crimson King, another one that I have as well. And Roxy Music's debut album, just to name a few. Fantastic, fantastic artist. So the Future Bites, sixth studio album by Steve Wilson. Here's the tracks there. Very futuristic sounding, but at the same time, it still rocks it out. You've got great tracks like Personal Shopper, Self, Unself, King Ghost, 12 Things I Forget, Elemental Sleaze, Man of the People, Follower, and Count of the Unease. Personal Shopper features Elton John, rhyming off things that you would buy in if you went to a mall. And very electronic sound, but it still manages to rock, as I said. Really, really great stuff. It's 2021 release, so it's one of his latest albums, but fantastic, fantastic stuff. Made in the Czech Republic, but really good sounding one. And then I managed to find Hand Cannot Erase, which is the fourth album by Mr. Wilson. Again, more electronica and pop rock, but he makes it sound good. It's not annoying pop rock. It's done the Steven Wilson way. It's hard to explain. Some cool photos in the liner notes here, but fantastic, fantastic stuff. It's loosely based on a theme of a woman that was found, who had died in her apartment and found 2 years later. The TV was still on. She was writing out Christmas cards. So there's tracks on here like First Regret, 3 Years Older, Hand Cannot Erase, the title track, which is fantastic, Perfect Life, Routine, Home Evasion, Regret, Transients, Astral, Happy Returns, and Ascendant here on. It's just got that overall theme to it of not only regret, but also hope and enlightenment for the future. This is something you got to listen to from start to finish, but it's a fantastic, fantastic album. I really love Steven Wilson. I think he's one of the great minds of the of the decade for sure, and fantastic artist, as well as this guy, So I watched the documentary last night. I watched it twice, actually. Um, it's kind of bittersweet, and I don't say that in a bad way. It's cool, and the clarity is just amazing. How they got, like, the quality is fantastic. It's cool to, like, you feel you're right there with the four guys, as well as all the engineers and producers and the road manager and everyone. George Martin is there as well, and going through the struggles of trying to get together all these tracks for a concert, and they're trying to figure out what venue to use. They were in a huge studio that they didn't really feel was good for the quality of sound that they wanted. So there was that struggle. You could see Paul trying to keep everyone motivated, and he even said at one point, I'm not going to reveal a lot, but he says, I've been the boss for 2 years. I don't want to be the boss anymore. And trying to motivate these guys. But overall, it's a fantastic documentary. It reveals the struggles they were going through. They were tired, they were exhausted, but at the same time, they put out some fantastic music. What I loved about it was the interplay between John and Paul. There was smiles, there was laughter, there was play, there was no argument between those guys at all. You could just see the ease and how they connected with each other. What struck me was George's attitude throughout it. And I'm not going to say much about that, but that's the bittersweet part of it, is that he just didn't seem into it. He had had enough, I believe. And, at the end, he eventually walked out. Who knows what's going to happen in part 2? I'll be watching that soon, later today. But, he was presenting some of his songs to the guys. They thought they were really cool. You could see Paul tapping along and interested in the lyrics. But he just felt he wasn't, I think he just felt he wasn't recognized as the artist that he was. I think Peter Jackson did an amazing job on this. Yeah, it's just looking back on it, and I wish I could reveal more, but I don't want to spoil it for anyone. The thing that struck me is how they, especially Paul, how he, the brilliance and the genius of this guy, where he just sat down on a piano and he started to create all these amazing songs. He didn't have all the lyrics down, but he had the tunes down. How he started to structure Get Back on the bass, like strumming it like a guitar. And he had an idea where John wasn't there yet. George and Ringo were there, and they were just watching him in amazement on how he could do that. And then eventually George picked up the guitar. Ringo started a hand clap, some of the drum parts. Just the earlier structure of Get Back, and how he just out of his mind started to form. He had ideas, and he just wanted to run with it. So that was cool. That was you could just see how this guy is a musical genius. Some people feel that John was the better artist, and that's cool as well. I think he was a fantastic artist. George is a fantastic artist in his own right as well. But I think Paul was the musical genius as far as the structure. He would and people and the guys would get a little ticked about him, especially George, on telling him how to play. But he had these images and thoughts in his mind and how the song should be structured. He knew what he was talking about, and they were a little off-putting for some of the guys. At one point, Ringo was talking to, I'm not sure if it was Glyn John or who it was, and he just turned to, as Paul was tinkering on the piano, and he said, I could just watch him for hours play this. I think he's amazing. And so there was high respect for the guys. But overall, I truly enjoyed it. Again, back to back, watching it twice, didn't tire of it. Who knows what's going to happen in part 2 and part 3? I mean, we all know the eventual outcome of it, but the thought of you know this rift between John and Paul and that just wasn't there. I didn't see it. Yoko was there throughout. She didn't really say much until George had left, and then they all came back in the studio and just kind of went nuts on the guitars and the drums and the just kind of getting their frustrations out. Yoko yelled a couple of tracks in her yelling style, but Paul was into it. He was trying to do the feedback with the guitar against the amp. Ringo was just going nuts on the drums. John was screaming at the top of his lungs, playing these big riffs, just to say, "What the hell? You know, what are we going to do now?" They talked about bringing Eric Clapton in. I don't know if it was jokingly or seriously, if George didn't come back. Yeah, George just kind of said, "I'm done. I'm out," and walked out. They didn't even have hardly any tracks together, and he just said, "I'm gone." So that was the bittersweet part of it. Kind of makes me think a little differently about him at the time. Not in a bad way, just these things that you don't hear or think of. So overall, again, I'm not trying to reveal a lot, but overall, it was a fantastic documentary. Peter Jackson did an amazing job in capturing the sound and the spirit and what was happening within those sessions. They were struggling, and even Paul said, "I'm scared. This has to be. This is it." And he didn't know if he wanted to go ahead with it because nothing was coming together. They weren't, as a group, they weren't playing to their potential. They were so used to being in the studio, and if something messed up, they could fix it. Well, this is going to be live. They're not going to be able to fix it. So he was struggling with that. He was trying to get them motivated. He was trying to present these songs and make new songs. John hadn't even started to make any tracks to this point. It was all Paul doing it. George had come in with some ideas, and I Me Mine was one of them. That was the he had come up with a riff the night before. They were working on it. They didn't complete the middle part where it was rocking out yet, but so he was trying to make a couple of songs. For Your Blue, I think, was another one that they were working on. But when they got together and they sang all these tracks, it was just magic. Just magic. So I'd give it a 9 out of 10 for sure. I'm really interested in seeing what's going to happen in part 2, and I'll probably come back with type of an outlook on that one. But if you don't have the Disney Channel, I recommend getting that if you're a Beatles fan for sure. Who knows what's going to happen in the end, if they're going to come out with something later on. But it was just, you were just felt you were there. It was better than a documentary, a true like where you would have people talking about the event and stuff. This was just the guys talking, and the producers and the manager and the road manager, which helped Paul actually write a couple of lyrics on the tracks, which was cool. They talked about going to these huge stadium in over in I can't remember the name of the place. It was they wanted to hire and rent an ocean liner to bring people over into this huge stadium, and they were, Ringo said, "I'm not going." You know, it was just too much. You're limiting to, so there was all kinds of struggles during this. Again, not revealing a lot, but I'm just trying to, off the top of my head, think of stuff. But overall, fantastic stuff. If you don't know Mr. Steven Wilson, definitely pick up not only this, but Porcupine Tree as well. Fantastic artist. And this is a fantastic box set as well of McCartney and everything that, not everything that he wrote, but the majority of everything that's been put out by him. And there you have it, guys. Thank you so much. Love you all. Talk to you again soon. Enjoy part 2. Take care.